We saw how impatient some Chelsea fans were at Stamford Bridge last year with Graham Potter. I think that where Chelsea were at the start of last season is not where they're going to be at the start of this season. I still think there's so much confusion in that squad, and there's not been an abundance of players coming in. And if you listen to what Pochettino said, he said about the new striker, Nicholas Jackson will need time to adapt to the Premier League after an impressive performance in their pre-season win last night against Brighton. He scored and I think he registered 2 assists as they came from behind to beat Brighton 4-3. But look, do Chelsea have enough in the squad to make top 4? What are the realistic expectations in Mauricio Pochettino's first season at Stamford Bridge? And as I say, I think they need a goalkeeper. I don't know why. No, I don't know. I know Spurs were looking at David Raya. I don't know why Chelsea wouldn't look at him. I think they probably need another striker. They're still chasing Caicedo, and they don't have European football, so that can help you weekend to weekend when you have more time on the training pitch. But Arsenal have spent £200 million. I don't think Arsenal fans or Arteta will be that concerned about their pre-season results because they've got all the time on the training pitch to prepare for the start of the season in 3 weeks' time with the players that they've brought in. Chelsea may well get hold of Caicedo. They may well get hold of a couple of more players, but they're not on the training ground working with them at the moment. And I have to say, when you're going up against Manchester City, who for me will run away with the league again, Arsenal, who were very good last season and have spent well, Liverpool, who, if they solve their midfield problems, will be a force to reckon with, Manchester United, who, yes, there are still problems with Manchester United, none more so than the ownership, but look at the ruthlessness of Erik ten Hag. The goalkeeper who won the Golden Glove is gone, and we brought in for the simple reason he wants a ball-playing goalkeeper. The captain, who is still at the club, has been removed as the captain, and even in the second half yesterday, wasn't the captain, it was Casemiro, so removed from the leadership group. There's a momentum around Manchester United and certainly an obsession from Ten Hag to move to the next level. Then there's Newcastle, then there's Aston Villa, then there's Brighton. I think it's very, very hard to put Chelsea into that top 4 automatically. They're an unknown quantity, I would agree with that, but I think it's really hard to put them in there and say that's definitely going to happen.
I agree with what you're saying. I think it's very difficult to put Chelsea into the top 4 right now because our midfield is so thin with not experienced players. And I think we can't compete with United, Arsenal, City, Liverpool in the midfield. And then I think Jackson and Nkunku need to prove themselves as strikers in the league to prove they can score 13, 14 goals a season to get Chelsea where they need to be, which is in the top 4.
Yeah, I think what's your sort of acceptable expectations going into the new season? Because ultimately, we saw it last year. A lot of Chelsea fans never really took to Potter, and therefore, when it started to go wrong, the momentum grew very, very quickly. How do you feel your expectations for the season are that are acceptable? And also, how do you think the fans in general will be around that?
I think the fans need to get behind Pochettino. We can't have another Graham Potter situation. So firstly, the fans have got to get behind Poch. We got to bury the Spurs, he was the Spurs manager and all this sort of stuff. He's the manager that Chelsea have decided we need to back him. In terms of where we're finishing, look, we need to challenge for top 4. We might not get there, but we need to be, up there by April and May. And if we finish off 5th, which I think next season is we get into the playoffs or something, don't we, for the Champions League, or 6th, the Europa League, then I think that would be a sort of acceptable season given where we've been and where we're going. Look, if we go and sign Caicedo and a new goalkeeper and maybe another striker or something, then I might say top 4 is achievable, but at this current stage, 5th or 6th is the maximum, I think, at the moment.
And just finally, Matthew, if you had your way, presuming Caicedo does get over the line at some point, what would be the next signing that you think is needed for Chelsea?
Goalkeeper. We need someone. I would have wanted Onana, but obviously he's gone to Manchester United now. He's someone that I thought would be acquirable for Chelsea, but obviously he's chosen Old Trafford, which is perfectly understandable. It's difficult with a goalkeeper because you're looking at people like Costa at Costa at Porto, isn't it? Is going to cost you 70 million. You're looking at Mainan from AC Milan again is going to cost you probably 70, 80 million. So I think the person I've been looking at quite heavily is Robert Sanchez from Brighton. I think he's, or David Raya, one of those two that you could get over the line maybe for 35, 40 million, and are better goalkeepers than what we have at the moment in Kepa Arrizabalaga.